Every coffee needs a lotus.
Hi, I'm Mel, and I am choosy. My ultimate skin goal is gusto kong mag-even out ang skin tone ko.
Hi, my name is Gian Anwada. My skin goals are to become whiter, fairer, healthier, and younger.
It really shows na yung skin ko ngayon mas moisturized, mas glowing, and mas healthy.
Thanks to Glutasy, I got my skin tone back. Thank you so much, Glutasy.
What's the secret to beauty's beauty?
Langis.
Ito ba lahat ang gamit mo?
Ay hindi. Isa lang ang gamit ko for all. Moringa O2 Therapy Oil. Hindi lang malunggay. Meron ding olive oil and omega from sunflower oil.
This therapy oil helps relieve my dry and irritated skin.
It helps lighten my scars and stretch marks.
It helps make my hair young and healthy.
This is our beauty secret.
Sana all.
Sana oil.
Okay, welcome back to our free learning session, the webinar sponsored by Ariva Academy. And if I may say, Eckhon, can you hear me?
Yes.
Ang galing nung sinabi mo na yung how do we nurture our relationship with the clients? You say it's not a matter of when, it should be every day.
Yes.
Every day. And you know what? That's what exactly Ariva Academy is doing. Don't you agree?
That's right.
This is
having webinars just like this.
Yeah, and this is for free. We don't smell them and think of money and smell money. We're giving it to them. And for those of you who subscribe, thank you so much for that. And syempre, questions natin for the Zoom participants. Please type in your questions. Ang dami na, Eckhon, na. So please type in your questions. Ang dami na.
Questions? I'm a little nervous for the questions. Oh.
Don't worry, you'll be able to handle it. For Zoom live questions, click the raise button to notify us. We'll read that and we'll let you, of course, ask the question. And of course, for our Facebook live viewers, ang dami ring nagtanong. You need to type in your questions, of course, and we'll read them. And are you ready for the first question?
Yes, I'm actually not worried. You know why? Because I know Howell Mabalot is also there alongside.
Hindi. Pero, Mr. Customer Guy,
yes.
before that, let's acknowledge our out-of-town participants. Okay lang ba?
Yes, please. I believe we have several out-of-towners, right? Out-of-towners.
Yeah, we had, thanks to Madam Irish Malonda, Madam President, for mentioning the international participants. We also have local participants. So, for our out-of-town participants, we have 2 packs from Albay.
Wow,
Ayan. Okay. So, 4 packs from Angeles City. We also have from Bacolod City, Baguio City, Bataan. And we also have 3 packs from Cagayan de Oro, 7 packs from Cebu City, 7 packs from Davao City. Wow, and 11 packs from Dumaguete City. We also have from Naga City, Negros Oriental, Nueva Vizcaya, Oriental Mindoro, Pampanga, Pangasinan, Siquijor, Tagbilaran City, Bohol, Tarlac City, Urdaneta City. We also have 3 packs from Zamboanga City. Wow. Thank you for joining us from all parts of the Philippines.
Well, that's quite a lot, huh? I wasn't expecting. That's quite a lot. That's from Abra to Holo. Like the
and not only that, Eckhon, this will be viewed for free. And tens and hundreds of thousands of Filipinos and global citizens will be able to see it for the coming years.
It's available.
This will be made available for public access. That's very important. So, ready na ba? So, nabasa ko na yung guidelines. Na-acknowledge na natin yung mga out-of-town participants natin. I also have mentioned how we can post our questions. Let's proceed. By the way, ito medyo hindi relevant doon sa discuss mo. But one person asked us if it's okay daw, sino daw ba yung Korean restaurant na nagbibigay ng good deal? Do they need EMU? Ganun ba?
I think we can. Is it okay if we mention? Can you ask
Madam Irish? Madam Irish daw. Because we have
Sure.
Sure daw.
Okay.
Sige. Sure.
It's my new client, UKB 199.
Okay. So hanap lang nila yon.
Yeah, so they're located in, I think, 14 to 15 locations. So I see in the chat box that there are some people from Marikina. So there's one in Marikina in Hill Fernando, right? So by the way, I think we have birthday celebrators as well on the.
Okay, can you see it?
Box. Yeah. From Carlo Villanueva, it's almost his birthday now. So how are they? He also has a question, and it's almost his birthday. So happy birthday, Sir Carlo.
Happy birthday.
Yes, and I see one of our viewers as well. She said, "Thank you so much. The webinar is super helpful, especially to us sales frontliners." And wow, this is from Toyota Otis. Okay. There are several birthday I saw from. I think Jerryson Pierce Lucena is also asking to be greeted because it's another. And remember, because of this pandemic and the crisis that we're going through, life does not stop. So people are still celebrating birthday because, again, people, whether we like it or not, diba, we go through life with this pandemic or without
I agree.
it. So we will still going to go through it. So yun.
So Q&A na tayo.
Yeah, go ahead. So
let's start off with Evangeline Mina from De La Salle College of St. Benil. She's a full-time faculty member. She asks you this: do you think going back to Trimedia is more effective means to communicate with our target audience nowadays or during this pandemic?
That's a very good question. Let me just repeat that question. I think I was looking at that question earlier, so that this is for the viewers to be able to really, shall I say, digest the answer. It says there, do you think going back to Trimedia is more effective means to communicate with our target audience nowadays or during this pandemic, during the COVID-19? Ito naman yung tinatawag natin. Now, remember, if you have the budget, Trimedia has been there for the longest time. You know that, Howard. Everyone knows that. When we were little, we would watch TV. At least when I was little, and I'm excluding you in this particular area, it was still black and white. And I was the remote control of the television back then. I don't know if you experienced that, but when your parents wants to change the channel, they look at you and say, can you change to channel 7? And you'll be the one to go there and rotate the knob. Yes. So I was the remote control. Now, it has been there for the longest time, and it's another venue for the audience. However, if you think about it, Trimedia is more expensive. You know that for a fact, Howard, that
it is.
The network time, you buy that, and that's very expensive. Whether it's 30 seconds, 60 seconds there, because if it's a commercial or an actual block timer, it's a whole show, 30 minutes or 1 hour. It is very, very expensive. Now, let me share with you the difference between Trimedia and what social media has done now. Okay, well, social media, when we talk about social media, of course we're talking about Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, including YouTube. They reach a multiplier. Why? Because their interactivity character, they have this interactivity. TV and TVC or TV commercials don't get that in their audience to interact with. You don't have a chance to interact with a TV commercial or a TV show, but with very little exceptions. The TV program American Idol is one example of that, and all the other shows now that are very similar and that have followed the platform of American Idol. It passed on the judging of the singers to its viewers via texting their votes. Initially, right, you get to choose, if you're a judge, you get to choose who passes or who gets the golden ticket and makes it to Hollywood. But once everyone is there and they're in Hollywood, they're singing now, you know, they're putting their best foot forward. It is now up to the viewers to decide who will win. that is only one of the few exceptions what TV and TVC can do. Unlike social media, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, their interactivity is real time and it's always there. So that's the difference between if you go to Trimedia, yes, it's a good thing, but it's more expensive.
It is.
Going into the social media is a lot less expensive, but the effectivity is almost as good as Trimedia. In fact, I've noticed that a lot of the Gen Zs, or what we call the iGens, are not even watching television anymore. They're just going into YouTube and Netflix. Right? Okay.
Thank you for that.
I hope I was able to answer that question. That came from a person from De La Salle.
De La Salle College of St. Benilde.
Yes, faculty, yes.
We also have a comment from, of course, FB Live, Melinda and De Guzman. Accordingly, true leaders must be visible during times of crisis. Therefore, I say you are true leaders because you are visible even during this pandemic time. Helping out and supporting people during this time is really commendable. Thanks for the learnings and the tips. Stay safe and God bless you more, guys. So that's a comment from Melinda De Guzman.
Yes, I believe she is a chairperson in Polytechnic University of the Philippines, Miss Mel. She was a participant in some of the trainings, and I also handled train-the-trainer sessions for Miss Melinda.
So thank you, Ma'am Melinda, for that. We also have another question. This is from the Q&A box. We've had to retrench 7 staff. This is from Roger Abada. We've had to retrench 7 staff and notify them of their termination prior to our annual CEO company address, where it wasn't explicitly mentioned that the company was in financial distress, but rather it was a hopeful, positive address that the company's vision of products and services is still in a good position to survive in a global recession and the new normal. So this is from Roger. I'm not sure if it's an opinion or a question, but if I were to ask you that, what's your take on this?
Let me clarify. The 7 people who were retrenched.
7 staff. There are 7. There were 7 retrenched.
Was this, or do you think, was this already planned prior to the pandemic, or this happened while we are in crisis already?
That wasn't mentioned.
Right, because if this was pre-pandemic, then that means, well, whether it's during the pandemic or even prior to the pandemic, I think it is very sad to hear that people are retrenched. And in fact, these are 7 staff members.
Okay,
but
by the way, sorry, here's the question pala. Sabi niya, question is, HR hasn't made any kind of announcement of the right sizing, apart from the immediate colleagues of the affected staff. Other departments across our global offices would not be aware of the reductions. And we don't have any plans of a group announcement, but rather address any eventual inquiries privately and personally. How would you approach this given this, or how would you approach this given the same situation? So they're doing it on a one-on-one private email, not a grand announcement, corporate announcement for everyone.
At least when you were able to read the whole question, it gave us a better picture of what the real situation was. Now the thing is, I believe that it is really up to the HR department in this particular scenario that they should be, and again, this is just basing it on my opinion, I believe that they needed to be more transparent. Remember when I mentioned to you earlier in our discussion, or I showed in our slides, that we need to be able to be transparent in situations like this. We should be. Yes, we need to be able to be transparent, and we need to communicate right away. Remember, I mentioned that.
Yeah. Hey.
Communication involves timeliness. It has to be done at the right time.
Pero not yung being hasty.
Yes. Now, this is not being hasty anymore because they've already made a decision to let go of these 7 people. Now, whether it's prior or during the pandemic, I believe that this is a financial decision.
Oh, kasi right sizing no?
Yes, right sizing. This is a financial decision for the company. They are really looking after the welfare of everyone. If you think about it, when you're doing the right sizing, you're simply looking after the welfare of the general public or the general.
So altruist, maging altruist tayo.
Yes, remember, like now that we are going through this pandemic and this crisis, they're saying that they're probably thinking at least within the next additional 3 to 4 months, we can still survive, because imagine the savings that we were able to do, we can still stretch our resources a little bit longer. So that's, I guess that's what they were doing.
Pero Eckhon, I think Roger Abada would like to point out the issue about transparency. Kasi sabi niya dito, that is remaining staff would be talking among themselves, possibly hopeful for a formal notice from HR management. As part of transparency, we are not covering up anything, as this would be addressed if raised privately. But we aren't also being proactive in informing either. Thus, is that being truly transparent? So, tama?
Oh, yeah.
Kasi kanina may sinabi ka na when you talk, it's about you restoring the service, it's about having a plan, it's about being consistent with your response, not being defensive, don't make hasty decisions, and don't ignore risk. The risk could possibly be more than what they would be thinking of right now.
Yes, and again, I emphasize to the people who were let go, but sometimes companies and business owners make decisions basing it on their financial position, like what you were saying earlier.
Yes.
I hope that the people who were let go, the 7 people who were let go, were given the proper severance pay.
Yes. And they underwent due process.
Right.
And that's the most important thing.
Yes.
Now, let's proceed to another question. And this is from Ion Prime Land Development Corporation, Victoria de Guzman. How do you establish authenticity, sincerity in building relationships and improving communication when there are limitations, restrictions during quarantine period? Thank you. Oo nga, no? Kasi we don't see each other face-to-face. This is virtual face-to-face.
Right.
But the 93% advantage we know is vocal and visual. But visual, you can only see the upper half of my body, not the rest of my gestures.
Right.
Am I fidgeting? Am I sincere? Am I crossing my legs? Paano yan?
Well, I'd like to answer this in a way that it's simply we are so fortunate that these times are so different from what we were used to 20 years ago. Okay, 20 years ago, technology has never been the same. Okay, technology has so much advances that it has made, for example, work from home is now a norm.
It's a new normal.
Yeah, it's now a norm. And prior to the crisis or the pandemic happening, it already is prevalent in our country, in all the other parts of the world. It is already prevalent. But back in the day, this was usually frowned upon because people would think that if you're not working in the office, you're not working at all.
Yeah.
Right? So now even teachers, they give students homework using modern technology. So the good thing, even though we are not able to make the physical interface with an actual customer, it's still okay because why? We have technology. And again, technology advances now has never been at its best compared to 20 years ago. Now, you can, you have Apple iPhones, Apple Watches, it's all there. When I'm in school, when I teach my students, I make sure that I use all medias or platforms.
Available platforms.
When I give assignments. So I make sure I send them a text message, I send them an email, I send them a GC in our group chat. And when someone comes in a week after, because I normally teach every week, and they still do not have the assignment, I am no longer at fault because why? I have given and used all the different platforms wherein they would be informed and they would get the assignment. If they get a text message from me, normally they would check because when you get a text message, you will check it. When you get an email, there's a tendency that you might not open it, especially if you're a student. Okay, you'd be surprised. The late millennials and the iGens now don't even use emails anymore because they say it takes a while and it has to be formal. Unlike if it's a GC or a messenger, you just simply say, "Hey, what's up?" Right, and then you get to contact with the person. Now, if it's a GC, they would see a red tab on their notification using their phone, so they will check it because then when they open it, it's social media. So you have to be able to use all the different platforms that are out there in order for you to be able to keep in constant contact with your clients. You can use email, you can update them using your Facebook page, your Instagram, your website. And if you have their numbers, because you had that fishbowl in your business where if they could put their business cards, then you would also have their phone numbers and get in touch with them. They always say, think out of the box. I say, what box?
What box? There's no box.
There's no box.
There's no box.
Yes.
Okay, so ito, next, well, I'm not sure if it's a tricky question or it will involve empathy, sympathy, us being humane and being human. Pero according to Riza Tandiama,
is this email, a question from the chat box?
This is via email sent to our president.
All right.
With Madam Michelle Irish Malando Samson. Ang sabi ni Riza Tandiama, is it okay to follow up collections during ECQ? Grabe, no? Mangongolekta ka ba?
I saw a person asking earlier in our chat box as well, something to do with when do you stop overselling?
Okay. Over collecting
during these times, if we think about it, selling and collecting affects or impacts a customer from the same level, I think, during these times. Diba? Parang itanong, sabi, how are we supposed to talk to customers without hard selling? When is the perfect time to do so? Definitely this time is not the perfect time to hard sell. In fact, sabi nga nila, a lot of saying, di ba, there are from the movie Glenn Ross, and it was picked up by another movie called The Boiler Room. They said ABCs always be closing. As a matter of fact, I'd like to think nowadays that if you're really a good salesperson, you don't even have to ask the person to say, so do you like it? How many would you like, right? Because what you do now is you should just tell a story. You tell a story about the product and you just let them decide in the end by simply asking, so that's it. Like you presented everything. It's up to them now. They're going to say, when can we do this? When can we get the paperwork done, right? Because you were able to really share everything that is needed for them to know in order for them to make a decision. You don't even have to ask them anymore. Now, as far as collection is concerned, that is very tricky because if you notice, a lot of the utility companies, credit card companies, car companies, there was a person who was from Toyota Otis. It's hard to collect at these times.
It is hard.
Because of the crisis. Now, first of all, I was hoping that we can get a better perspective on that particular question. Is that would you know what is the nature of the business of the one asking, the one that will be collecting?
So wala, hindi niya sinabi. Pero I think, thank you for that. We respect that time. And the time right now, the time we're going through right now is hard for all of us. So alam mo yun, yung naghihirap ka, wala ka nang makain, sisingilin ka pa. So that's the human side of us.
Right. Parang asan, where's the compassion?
No,
so
tama.
What you can probably do is you can just simply say that at the light at the end of the tunnel, we'll see each other again. Right? At the light at the end of the tunnel, and I hope that the light is near. When we see each other again, let's continue our business. Something like that. It's very hard to be able to start collecting things nowadays. So you know that the person or the company, instead of just simply paying a simple debt, they'd rather keep it to be able to stretch their resources to be able to outlast this virus or this pandemic.
Thank you for that, Coach Eckhon. Now, we have a comment from Maria Eloisa Alani. Thank you, Mr. Eckhon, Malig, for your time to share your good thoughts and for your coaching. To all in Ariva Academy, especially to Mr. Howell and Miss Irish for all your kindness, Godspeed. So, hindi mo na-mention, Ma'am Eloisa, ang aming CEO, of course, si Sir J.M. Atienzo.
Sir J.M.,
Siya yung utak at ugat at puso nito. He thought of this alongside Ma'am Irish, and we all said yes. So thank you, Ma'am Eloisa, for that.
And I'm very happy to see one of the comments here. It says there.
Sige, basahin mo.
Yeah, this is from Amor Kamato saying that thank you for a very knowledgeable Saturday afternoon. First of all, we would like to thank you for joining us on a Saturday. I know this is your weekend. Normally, it's a time for you to do chores, but the thing is, the new norm now is you do chores anytime of the weekend.
And you wake up at 4 a.m.
You're wearing a suit.
Wearing a suit. Oh, that's a new norm.
Yeah, so thank you for joining us this Saturday. It really applies. The messages, it says there, it really applies to our situation now. Have faith. We will get through all this. There is always Easter after every Good Fridays. And we are, after all, an Easter people. So prayers for our health and safety. That is very nice. And I appreciate that. I'm sure everyone who is listening from the remote areas, from Miss Irish to Howell, we all appreciate that. Those are very kind words, hearing from you.
Yeah.
Yeah, would there be any other question aside from the comments?
Okay, so we have another. Yeah, we have a lot of comments. We have a lot of questions now. Another question. So, how do we ensure ito from Carlo Villanueva of Ayala Land Premier? Maganda to. I think we somehow touched on this already. Sabi niya, how do we ensure that we are sensitive enough to communicate with or to our customers without compromising the status of the relationship due to the recent crisis?
This is a very good question. We were able to touch on this a little bit.
A bit kanina.
A bit. But again, I think I mentioned this kind of early. The good thing about this pandemic or about this crisis that we're going through, if I may say so, is that this is purely this crisis that we're going through, the virus that is now afflicting the whole the globe is non-hierarchical. Everyone is feeling the crisis. So when you talk to a customer, an existing customer, a potential customer, or a customer you're trying to court, for this customer to be your customer, it's just simply a simple message or an email or a messenger of hi, how are you? Hope everyone is safe. That is already a big thing because everyone is feeling the virus, right? No one is exempted. So caring for another human being who happens to be your customer is something that is not going to be frowned upon. It's something that we all would want to be able to give to our customers. It's easy to communicate nowadays. There are so many platforms that we can use. But again, because everyone is feeling the crisis, it's so easy to empathize and be human after all. So I think, I hope I was able to answer that question.
You were able to answer it. Tama naman yung point of view mo. I agree with that 100%. By the way, kanina you mentioned about nagpapabati, di ba? So Kirby Lubaton and si Carlo, hindi niya sinabi kung ano yung kanyang last name. Happy birthday to the both of you.
Yes, ang dami nga mag-birthday.
Oh yeah. Happy birthday. Now, from Devin Kabatingan, given the current setup of numerous companies that they resorted to work from home, how can companies improve employee productivity, considering the restrictions brought by the crisis?
That is, of course, everyone is working from home, but the thing is, how can we ensure the productivity is happening when people are at home, right? At this point in time, again, babalik tayo sa, when we're going to go back to the conversation about being compassionate, being human.
Yeah.
If at this point in time you don't trust your people, that is really a problem. But you have to trust your people to be doing the right thing when given the chance. This virus, I'd like to think that even though it is putting barriers to all of us not to infect everyone, it also removes the boundaries of everyone because we are becoming more human with each other. We're becoming more, we're being nicer, we're being friendly to people that you never would have talked to in the past. But you have to be able to trust your people. What you can do is, I think, as far as productivity is concerned, there are so many software or applications that you can use in order for you to be able to monitor their productivity. And a lot of virtual assistants, the freelancers, know these particular softwares or applications. Just to mention one, Time Doctor. You can use Time Doctor and install it in the system so that you know at any given time, you can even do a screenshot of what your employee is looking at in their computers or laptops at home, especially at the time when they need to be productive.
Ayan. Thank you
but
for
again,
that.
You have to weigh, being human, being compassionate, and empathizing with the situation.
So I'd like to ask a follow-up question on that note. The question that has been asked by Devin Kabatingan. Kasi you mentioned about monitoring.
Right.
So what about inspiring? Kasi monitoring, policing, breathing down their necks, checking them every 5 or 10, 15 or 20 minutes or an hour. So sometimes it feels like, don't you trust me enough?
Right.
So the question I'd like to ask now, aside from what Devin Kabatingan has asked, is how can we somehow inspire them so that even without you monitoring, policing, breathing down their necks, without you being there virtually
without
every 50
micromanaging.
minutes, no micromanagement, how can they be productive? How can you do the laissez-faire leadership style?
Right. That's a very good question, and that's the opposite of the spectrum, the other side of the spectrum, right? Well, the good thing about that is that, first of all, you can send out newsletters and emails to your employees saying that, at this particular time, whatever is happening, this is the time to send them certificates of appreciation that they've been with you for how many years. Something like that. It's to be able to develop employee engagement, to make them feel that normally they've never received any certificate of appreciation. Suddenly here you are sending them certificates of appreciation that even though we are in the middle of an ongoing crisis, we appreciate the work that you've done over the past how many years. Send them appreciation certificates. And
can it go with gift certificate from a Korean restaurant?
Yes. Yes, it can. You can do that. And besides, as if these are regular employees, and you can still afford to pay them their wages even if they're not going to offices and they're still being productive while they're at home, and you continue to pay them the salaries that they get is already enough inspiration or motivation. Because remember, a lot of people, just like you and me, Howard, who are daily wage earners, when there's no training gig, there's no income.
Yeah.
You imagine that. Who's going to send us certificates of appreciation? What day are we going to expect our payday when we know that there has not been any training over the past month? If you are an employee and your company is still liquid and it has the cash flow as well, and you're still getting your paycheck 15 and 30, depends on what time of the month you get it, bi-monthly or semi-monthly. Yeah. These are already enough motivation, but keeping in constant contact and giving them like certificates of appreciation, or better yet, what they do in fast food, like there's an employee of the month. Maybe you can do an employee of the week, by simply
I like that,
basing it on their productivity. So because we don't know how short or long this lockdown or quarantine is going to be, so you can do an employee of the week thing. Send it through your Facebook page or GC so that they'll feel good about being part of your company, even though they're not really going to your office at the moment, but they still remain productive.
Thank you so much. Of course, Coach Eckhon. Maganda yun, no? Yung may intrinsic and extrinsic reward. Now, at this time, I'd like to greet and say hi to Sir Michael Malonda. He's watching right now. Of course, and I would like to say hi to our Ariva Academy family.
Yes, hi.
We're not
guys.
only surviving, we're thriving. We're giving back to the Filipino community. That's how we upbuild the nation, especially in the most trying times that we're experiencing in the history of the Philippines for as long as we lived. Diba? So,
That's right.
ayan. So, dahil dyan,
Maybe before you go, there's another comment from Jefferson Camero. He's saying that our customer service engineer is doing this sharing regular updates, meaning the engineering department shares regular updates. It benefits us both. We get info of their operations, thus we know when to operate our machines and when to tell our employees to report for work. Our customers are then assured that we can always deliver. Thank you for sharing. Yes, thank you for sharing that, Jefferson. That's a very good insight, and I think some of the other companies who are into engineering as well would definitely benefit from your comment. And kudos for your comment.
Thank you for that. You know what, Eckhon? As much as we want to continue this, I'm afraid we don't have enough time already. But the good thing is, the viewers can still view this starting today and for as long as the Earth exists via our Facebook page, the YouTube, and of course, your personal account. So, ngayon, any last words or message from you as we close this workshop?
Well, one of the most important things in all the webinars that I've done over the time that we are under ECQ or lockdown, so to speak, I've always said that the virus we cannot control. There is only one thing that we can control, and that is to stay home and stay clean. Take care of your personal hygiene. So I believe that if we do stay home, and that is one thing that we can control, therefore we can impact the virus in a way that we can flatten it right away. And in no time, we will be going back to the things that we've been doing in the past. But this time, we are coming out a better nation and a better person, because why? We have learned so much from the experience that we've gone through because of this virus. This virus, you have to respect it. If you don't respect it, it will come back to you. And it's going to take you to the grave. The virus is just like the Grim Reaper.
It is.
If you can't reason out with the Grim Reaper, he's going to bring you to where he needs you to where you need to be brought. But again, the only thing that we can control is ourselves. I cannot stress this enough, people. Be like Howell and me. Just stay home.
And wake up in your suit.
Wake up. Sleep in your suit.
Sleep in your suit. Wake up in your suit. Now,
that's right.
Sir Eckhon, Malig, I'm sure you still have the QR code, the last slide of your presentation I'd like to flash and then show our participants right now.
Let me just...
Before I turn this over to our beloved Madam President, Irish Malonda Samson.
That's right.
And that's very important that they see your QR code and the last slide.
There you go.
There you go.
So that's a picture of me before the pandemic happened. And you saw me now. That's the before, and I'm the after.
The after suits you.
Really?
Well, yeah. Keep it that way.
I'll take your word for it. So that's my QR code. Anybody who is watching and listening, that is, you know how this works. It's no longer giving of the regular business cards, but the QR code. My name is Eckhon Malig. I'm known as the customer service guy. But again, if you would want Howell and myself to handle potentially your future in-house trainings and public workshops, so you have there the Ariva Academy. Just simply comment, get in touch with our president, Ms. Irish, and ask for the both of us if you guys are interested in us running programs under Ariva. With that in mind, again, stay safe, everyone. Please stay home. And remember, there is the light at the end of the tunnel, okay? So
there is.
We're just hoping that the tunnel ends is shorter than we expect, so that the light comes faster.
We hope so too.
All right. So I leave you with improving lives one training at a time. Have a nice weekend, Howell. Have a nice weekend
You
to
too.
all the viewers, and the Ariva family, to Jeff and to President Irish and our CEO, JM. Thank you. And again, kaya natin to, guys.
Kaya natin to. Maraming salamat. Coach Eckhon, Malig, the customer service guy. And this free webinar would have not been possible if not for our precious and loving and generous sponsors. And so I'm turning over the stage or the platform to our dear Madam President Iris Malonda Samson. Big hand, everyone.
Thank you. Wow, that was fun, sir. That was fun. That was indeed a fruitful, jam-packed e-learning session that we had. So thank you so much, Sir Eckhon. Thank you for sharing your thoughts, your inputs, the learnings. Maraming salamat. And Sir Howell, thank you so much for being a great moderator. I'll see you on Monday.
See you on Monday. Yeah, we'll do it regularly, Madam President.
So before we end our session, I'd like to thank some of our win-win sponsors. Ariva Academy would like to thank the following win-win partners. Our official media partner, Art Plus Magazine. Digital media partners, Focus Media, Globaltronics, City Advertising Venture, Outcome, Elevate Media. For win-win partners, thank you to Brother, Faber-Castell, Glutacy, Moringa O2, KFC, Mr. Donut, Tokyo, and Lotus Biscoff, and Boss Job. For those of you who want to place your ads here, advertise your services, your offerings, your company, and your brand for a great brand exposure that can be viewed to 1,000 viewers. So please email us at marketing@arivaacademy.com.ph. Again, it's marketing@ariva.com.ph. Please don't forget to like us on Facebook. It's Ariva Academy Philippines, Inc. Please scan this QR code and it will be directed to our Facebook page. Don't forget to like us. For those of you who missed this e-learning session and also want to watch the replay, you can subscribe to our YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe at Ariva Academy and Ariva Talks YouTube channel. You can see a library of our previous e-learning sessions from Jonathan Yabut, Coach Bernard Marquez, Ms. Abigail Arenas de Leon yesterday. So don't forget to subscribe. And for our upcoming online learning sessions, don't forget to register. This will be on Monday, Better Decision Making and Understanding the Global Reactions to COVID-19 Using Neuroscience. We have invited a US certified neuroscience coach, Coach Ben Ampil. And on Tuesday, April 21, Crisis Communications in HR, Communicating with Employees Through a Crisis. This will be discussed by Ms. Rochelle Ann Villo. And on Saturday, April 25, Manage Money in a Crisis, Strategies to Manage Your Money Better. This will be discussed by none other than a sought-after motivational speaker, Mr. Chinky Tan. And I am proud to announce to you our upcoming HR Virtual Summit PH 2020, aptly themed Bounce Back HR, Sharpen Resilience for the New Normal World of Work. This will be next week. Don't forget, please register. This will be a back-to-back e-learning sessions. The first e-learning session would be on Wednesday, April 22, Creative Human Capital in the Aftermath of Coronavirus. This will be discussed by keynote speaker, international speaker, Mr. Dixon Tang. And in the afternoon of Wednesday, April 22, 3 to 4:30 p.m., we have invited Coach Pia Nazareno Acevedo to discuss emotional resilience strategies during the COVID-19 crisis. Don't forget to register. And of course, I am proud to announce to you the second series. We have invited the father of the modern HR, Dr. Dave Ulrich, and of course, the global thought leader, Mr. Ron Thomas. This will be on Thursday, April 23, 2020. Dr. Dave Ulrich will be discussing HR's role in crisis, the essential role of HR during COVID-19 pandemic. This will be at 9 a.m. to 10:30. Don't forget, 9 a.m. to 10:30 on April 23. And in the afternoon, we have Mr. Ron Thomas, Thursday, April 23, 2023 to 4:30 p.m. He will be discussing HR leadership in a time of crisis. And if you want to have a customized e-learning session exclusive for your company, you want to invite Mr. Eckhon Malig, Ms. Abigail Arenas, some of our Ariva partner speaker and guest speaker before, please do call me at 0916-695-4418 or email me at irish.arivaacademy@gmail.com. And that's it. Hope you learned a lot today. And I'll see you on Monday. Again, this is Irish Malonda Samson. In Ariva, it's all about being better. Be safe. Stay home. Okay, don't forget to register on Monday. Better decision making and understanding the global reactions to COVID-19 using neuroscience. Okay, thank you. Goodbye.